one. Not so long ago, in a podcast down the street. Whoa! Hang on, Ben. Hold on. If you're gonna be paid to be my producer, you got to play the right fucking music. Seriously.
My bad.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I was playing or not.
Glory to the Empire. This is the Josh Zodiac Podcast. The podcast about anything and everything we want to talk about. But today, the rule of two goes out the fucking door. Because today, we are talking about nothing but Star Wars. Trekkies, take your seat to the left. My guest today will be none other than my commentary partner, Mr. Sir Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very. Oh, I'm sorry. Shay. Beep bop boop.
You were not R2D2.
You don't know that.
And joining us for the first time on the Josh Zodiac Podcast, a member of All Content Entertainment in Corp, otherwise known as Jay Grimm, we have Mr. Jeremy here. Mr. Jeremy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about y'all, gentlemen?
It's 10 o'clock. I have a adult beverage in my hand, as you can plainly see.
I'll drink to that, even though it's Big Red.
So yummy. All right, gentlemen, like I said, we'll be talking about nothing but Star Wars on this episode. No wrestling, no all content, just straight up wrestling. The first question I will bring up is your earliest memory of watching Star Wars. Now, Jeremy, since you were the youngest one in this group, I will start with you.
Earliest memory of watching Star Wars. So, I would say I was actually a preteen when I first discovered Star Wars. So, I'd say probably 12, 11 or 12. The only reason why I say that is because I watched a lot of Disney stuff because I grew up with my sisters and my grandma, so it's a lot of women. So I didn't get a lot of obviously they're not into Star Wars and shit like that. But one day I do remember the first one I watched. That was Revenge of the Sith. I remember watching that, and I'm like, what is this shit about? Like, holy fuck, this is badass. Like, there's a whole story to this. And I told my cousin, like, yeah, there's like fucking 6 movies. I was like, I bet. And I've started, and ever since then I got hooked. So yes, Revenge of the Sith was the one that got me hooked.
All right, I like that. Now, Ben, I know you and I are around the same age. So that being said, for a brief moment in our lives, we knew a world without Star Wars. We just don't fucking remember it. So that being said, what is your first memory of seeing Star Wars?
Honestly, like I remember watching it on TV. Not even like video cassette, whatever, like actual TV. On one of the 3 networks. I don't even remember which one it was, but I remember
I think it was CBS that did it back in the day. It was one of the,
I just remember the big heavy box TV, that old CRT.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, one of us kids acted as the antenna for a little bit.
Yep, those were the days.
And I remember having a pair of pliers that we would use to like tune it, whatever, because the knobs on those TVs never lasted very long. But I remember I guess, like, when you have a very specific memory of like when you like I equate it to like the Matrix, like when you logged on, like when you actually remember, like your computer turned on and you start, retaining memories and stuff like that. I
Yeah,
remember the garbage scene from the very first Star Wars. That was like my intro to Star Wars, whatever was watching that happen and just thinking like what is it in the water? Like, are we ever gonna see it? Like,
yeah. Not with that little fucking snake looking thing crawling
yeah,
around. Yeah.
and ever since then, I've had what do you call it? Not a phobia, but it's like a concern, whatever, about water that you can't see under.
Oh wow, that's funny.
So yeah, so that was my earliest thing. Whatever, is just having one of fear unlocked by Star Wars, whatever, because of the garbage containment, garbage
Yeah.
or whatever thing.
Okay. For me, um, back in May of 1977.
You grew up on the classics. Y'all did, at least. Y'all grew up on the classics.
Oh yeah, well, this is before special edition too, so we knew. Which I'll be watching the original theatrical releases tomorrow. I'm not watching no special edition shit. Fuck that. But for me, back in the day, we're all from Corpus, but back in the day, over by Buccaneer Apartments by Ray High School, it's like a little school now, but there used to be a man's 2-screen movie theater just down the street from
I remember
where
that.
my parents grew up at. And they were showing and it was walking distance away because at the time we only had one vehicle. And my dad at the time worked at the base. So she would lug 18-month-old me or less than 18 and watch Star Wars. And for me personally, I don't like taking kids younger than 2 or 3 to a movie because they tend to be a little restless. They want to start fussing. They don't know when to stop. But for whatever reason, my first memory is not the crawl, but it's that freaking the Tantive 4 going over the screen, getting shot at, and this big ass fucking Dorito right behind it coming over screen. And I remember being that old going, whoa, just totally immersed. And that being said, this episode, there we go. That's my mom. She's the one that got me into everything that I'm into. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be in the shit that I'm into, including Star Wars. So for her, I say thank you. She is no longer with us. However, her memory lives on. But yeah, she took.
Just let her to get reminded. Just let her know that she created a legend.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? She would take me all the time to go. I think I saw Star Wars more times when I was younger than 2 years old than I have since then. So it's just one of those things where she took me around and and of course when Empire Strikes Back came out, of course we had to go watch it. And it's funny, my brother JP was born right around the time that Empire came out too. He was born on May 24th of 1980. And I believe that is the day it came out, Empire. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's the date. And it's funny, we're talking Star Wars, and I'm wearing a freaking Mr. Spock shirt.
Traitor.
No, see, and I know this is off topic, off script, but you can like both. Who the fuck says you can't like both? I love them.
You're the one who said we're talking about nothing but Star Wars.
I understand that, but you know what? It's my podcast. I could do whatever the fuck. To quote John Malkovich from Rounders, I'll splash the pot whenever the fuck I want. So, anyway, Ben and I were talking about this earlier, Jeremy. We're actually going to watch the original trailer for Star Wars, the original 1976 trailer.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Well, it's not very fulfilling. It's kind of like I'm surprised the movie did as well as it did because this trailer,
Yeah,
Dang it.
it doesn't.
It's not like captivating or anything.
Not really,
It's-
no. I mean, looking back, no, it doesn't. Maybe back then it did. So here's the trailer.
Somewhere in space, this may all be happening right now. 20th Century Fox and George Lucas, the man who an adventure unlike anything on your planet. Star Wars.
Here they come. Coming in too fast.
The story of a boy, a girl, and a universe. It's a big, sprawling space saga of rebellion and romance. It's a spectacle, light years ahead of its time.
I am C-3PO, human cyborg relations, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
It's an epic of heroes.
Good luck.
And villains and aliens from 1,000 worlds. Years in the making, and it's coming to your galaxy this summer.
Yeah, that's the original trailer. Again, not very captivating, but you know what?
It
Not
got
gonna lie, I think I lost interest. That was
Well,
weird.
But see, it's funny. Some things I take from that is that it says it's the story of a boy, a girl, and a universe.
That's where I lost. I'm like, what?
That
So, but
tells
see,
tells me right there that Lucas was going to hook Leia and Luke up from the fucking beginning, and it was like, let's make them related because people from Alabama will get that. You know, I don't get
I was
it.
about
you
to
know?
say, what in the Alabama is going on here?
It's
No
a
shit.
boy, a girl, and a universe, which kind of implies there's more than one universe out there.
Which makes sense because it's Star Wars.
True.
'Cause it doesn't say the universe, like the Josh Zodiac.
Oh, see, I see what you did there. I like that.
There's
I see what
a
you, I see what
universe.
you did
And it's
there.
not royalty like Sir Benjamin.
Mhm.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, like I said, that trailer didn't really do much. And I remember I've seen an interview with Mark Hamill years ago when he was in a theater and they were showing the trailer for Star Wars and it said coming to a theater near you this summer. And some dude in the back of the theater was like, yeah, it'll be on late night TV in a month after it comes out. Like this dude was just talking shit about Star Wars before it even hit the fucking before it hit the theaters. So and nobody thought it would do what it did. Like people thought it was going to fail miserably. Like Fox had no hope in it at all.
And
Not
now,
gonna lie. After watching that, if I'd never seen the movies before, I probably would never watch it.
Mhm.
I said, but now it's a global phenomenon. And
True.
there's, I mean, if you think about it, pop culture all over, like in all different aspects,
Yep,
you know, takes influence from Star Wars. I mean,
it really does.
music, art, you know, food. I mean, you go to HEB now and you can actually buy the blue milk.
I
I'm gonna
know.
buy it tomorrow. I'm gonna buy it tomorrow.
Oh,
Wow.
actually, I was at HEB earlier and I saw it there and I was like, should we get some? And my wife's like, ew. I'm like, ew. So I was like,
I'm
all
like,
right, I guess we're not getting the
Did
blue
they have
milk.
the gallons or the half gallons?
They had the half gallons.
With that being talking about the pop culture phenomenon and everything, I'm curious if y'all think if Disney is making too much content. I know they've gone away from the movies for a time, but now they're making like all the shows like Obi-Wan and The Bad Batch, Ahsoka, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just curious, do y'all think they're making too much content right now?
Well, I mean, I like the stuff they're doing as long as they don't let it get watered down.
Mhm.
Like the way Marvel was getting for a while. You know, it got to the point where people were like, "Oh, great, another freaking superhero."
I
Um,
feel like Marvel is watered down right now, to be honest.
well, yeah, and they're learning from that. That's why they're saying like, "Okay, we get it. We're gonna, we put out too much, so we're gonna tone down what we've been doing." So
Like Madam Web was a disaster.
yeah, but that's
I wouldn't
really
even call that Marvel. That's not even
it's not
Marvel.
MCU. That's Sony universe. So
Being stupid, yeah.
um, but like I said, I like what they've done with Bad Batch. I like what they did with Ahsoka. It sucks that guy died. Um,
Yeah.
because I think his character was very interesting, and I
Mhm.
would have liked to see more what they would have done with that character. Um, but all in all, I mean, adding to already an extensive universe, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, as
Yeah.
long as it's done the right way.
And even with the Acolyte coming out in a month, we're going to be
I
seeing Star Wars before. This is like the earliest we've seen that's not in the video game.
Right.
So we're going to see like the precursor to the Phantom Menace. Like, oh shit. My thing though about that is that any Jedi that's going to see whoever the Sith Lord is not going to fucking survive. Period.
No.
Because they even talk about in the first movie that they've been extinct for a millennium. So they have zero recollection that the Sith has been out there the whole fucking time. The rule of two is working, obviously, So I'm curious. When the Disney movies came out, I'm like, y'all can do better. You really can. I mean, the Clone War cartoons were really good.
I feel
And
like
then, of course,
with that question, I have two answers. So with the movies, I think they all could have been better, done better. Um, but the shows are doing right now, I feel like it's perfect because
mhm,
it's explaining stuff like in the Mandalorian. It's explaining stuff that they kind of mention in the movies, but they don't explain.
yeah,
Right.
That's going back to the same thing with Bad Batch and that whole series. I haven't finished it. Uh,
yeah.
you were
It's
telling me it's
actually a
good.
really good
The ending's
show.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
And then I haven't even started the Boba Fett show, believe it or not. It's not that
Wow.
I don't want to. I've been so busy with work and all this other
I
crap.
mean, the book of
Uh,
Boba Fett is pretty much Mandalorian season 3. It's just a whole other season of Mandalorian. Just Boba Fett's in it. It's still a good show for what it is. It really is. But
and then
but
there's that other
but
one, Andor, as
Yeah.
well.
I
Andor
never
is really good actually.
I got into it for a while, but I never finished it. I wish that I had,
You still
because I canceled my my Disney subscription just
oh, never
because
mind.
the price got over. Like they're just getting stupid with their prices.
They really are.
Where are they at now on their subscription?
Um,
It's like
oh,
$8 a month, something like that.
How
I
much?
think it was like 20 something. The one that I had.
No way.
Mm-mm. You probably had the bundle with Hulu and ESPN Plus, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you get just
So
Disney by itself, it's like $8-9.
yeah,
Of course,
so
you have ads.
I actually had it and then I dropped it, not because I wanted to, it's because I didn't really have a great paying job at the time. So I had to choose between that and Paramount. Plus I
I
chose
get that.
Paramount
I
because
get that.
uh I felt like Paramount just had better shows that I was more interested in at the time. So I haven't even started the Andor series either, but I have read. I'm a big comic book geek when it comes to like Star Wars. So um, if they follow the comics the way I hope they do, I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah, the shows have been really good. There
So as
really
far
hasn't
as a
been any kind of
question,
like,
like
oh, what the fuck? It's been really
I
good.
feel like
I feel like I'm okay with content as long as it's worth watching. That's my thing.
yeah,
And it felt
I
like
feel like it's
when
not too much. It's good.
I felt like with the sequel trilogy, they threw them out as quick as they could just to make the money. There was no fan service. There was no real story. It was just, oh, let's make episode 4 again, just in the future, which The Force Awakens is. It's the fucking truth. You find some person on a desert planet, they escape on the Millennium Falcon, they find the hidden rebel base, and they fucking destroy it. I mean, come on. What the only difference is fucking Han dies. Spoiler alert for those who don't know.
I think it's been
So,
Yeah,
So,
I get that.
do you mind if I explain to you why I hated the Kylo Ren character?
Please?
So,
Because he killed Han? I get
no,
that.
I actually, so to me, if you have a character like that who's supposed to be the next Darth Vader, that's what they're portraying him as,
Mhm.
basically.
Yeah.
Because when it first started, Force Awakens first started and you first get introduced to him, he looked like a fucking badass.
Yeah.
He had a fucking badass fucking saber. He had this badass looking mask. He would
I was
Adam
gonna say,
Driver, a fucking beast of a fucking man. I'm not trying to. That sounds weird, but
one
like
thing
he was a
that
perfect fit for that.
yeah. So one thing that Kylo Ren did that I never saw before that I thought was freaking amazing was when the first shot that we see of him is him stopping a blaster bolt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was all like, dude, like even Darth Vader's never fucking done that shit.
He just took
Like,
it. Yeah.
like-
He never stopped him. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like this
Like,
guy's
what-
gotta be fucking insanely powerful. And then they turn him into Mr. Emo, kind of, like
yeah.
And I get why they did it because it's Disney and kids like that shit. But to me, if you're gonna take over a franchise such as Star Wars, that's a fucking global fucking phenomenon everywhere, not just in America, everywhere. Like, do it right. I don't care. Like, if they would have done episode 7 the right way, that episode could have been way better.
yeah.
Way better. You could tell it was rushed. You could tell.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And all of them were rushed. I agree with you. 7, 8, 9, they were all rushed. I
Yeah.
felt like if they would have taken their time, I wouldn't have bitched about, okay, this one's going to come out in 2025. The next one's going to come out in 2020. Hey, do the fucking job right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. I mean, I wasn't around when the first ones were released. But how often were the movies released in theaters?
3 years apart.
3 years apart. That makes sense. It gives them 3 years to make up a fucking good story, get it going.
Well, even the prequel trilogy, 99, 02,
They're about-
05. They were 3 years apart. Exactly 3
Yeah.
years apart. And
Yeah, because
see,
they did. They
and that
did
brings up a
Revenge
whole
of the
other
Sith
point.
in what year?
Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah,
that
because
brings up
Natalie
another.
Portman and all them. Yeah.
That brings up another point, though, too, is that they released The Last Jedi in what, 2018, I think it was, or 2017. And then they released Solo the following summer. The reason Solo failed is because people still had a bad taste in their mouth from
Yep.
that turd, The Last Jedi. I personally love Solo. I think it's great. I think it's it's the leaser the least of the two standalone movies they made with Rogue One and Solo. But I always wanted to see a younger Han Solo movie, and I got it, and I'm like, I'm not disappointed. I got
think
what
they
I
picked
wanted.
the right guy for Han Solo too.
100%, and even Lando was great casting. So, but this will lead on into my next question. Ben, you'll love this. What books would you want to see made into a movie? Yeah, I already have my answer, but I'm curious what you think, Ben.
So I've been saying since the beginning, the Darth Bane books.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 of them. There's 3 movies right there, ready to go. You can see the force of nature that is Darth Bane.
Yep.
How he went from just a simple miner on Apatros to Dark Lord of the Sith. I mean, the story is incredible. The books were incredible. And there's things in there that we hadn't seen before in Star Wars canon that are, I know now they say that those books are not canon, but it would be awesome if they brought them back into the Star Wars universe, the expanded universe. Those would be incredible. And then of course the Darth Plagueis book would be an awesome movie because it leads directly into Phantom Menace.
Yep, true.
So I don't see a way you could lose by going that route.
Agreed. Or not really a movie, make it more of a
Don't
TV
give 'em
series.
Don't give Disney a bad idea to screw up though.
Well, see, now that Dave Filoni's behind the wheel, they can't fuck up because he's a fan. He's a fan just like we are. And he knows what the
that's
fans
true.
want to
John
see.
Favreau kills it when he writes The Mandalorian. He is
Yeah.
so accurate. It's like ridiculous.
Have you read any of the books, Jeremy?
Yes,
At all?
that's the only books I've ever read in my entire life, besides when I was forced to read the Bible, of course. So I would say the Star Wars Legacy books.
Ah, okay.
There's 9
Which
of them.
we're kind of getting a bit of that with the
Some of it, but they don't really like explain too much.
No, they don't. But that's
I
fine.
think that would be cool.
Now, for me, I have these books in the mid-90s when they came out, and we've the character in Star Wars, the Ahsoka series, trilogy movies. 3 of them.
Yeah.
They're great fucking books. They continue the story of Luke, Han, and Leia. We were introduced to Mara Jade. All of that shit comes full circle. And now that we've seen Thrawn, there's no reason why we shouldn't see this made into movies. Period.
I do have a question about the movies, though.
Sure.
So if they were to revamp 7, 8, and 9 the proper way,
Thrawn
would you
trilogy.
watch it?
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
trilogy.
Fuck yeah.
If they were to sit there and rewrite it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
you would watch them.
It doesn't mean I'm gonna like. It doesn't mean I'm gonna like them.
It better if they did it the right way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch them regardless. There has yet to be a Star Wars anything that's come out, with the exception of the holiday special. We don't talk about that, but there's been nothing that's come out that I haven't been excited to see. My after excitement may be a little bit different, but either way, I'm like, fuck, they're putting out another movie. I'll fucking go watch it. I don't give a shit. Oh, there's another TV show on Disney Plus. Fuck it, I'll watch it. I don't care because I want to be immersed in the universe. I want to know as much about that world as I can. Period. And a strong second runner up for a book to be made into a movie, Shadows of the Empire. That game, that book, fucking incredible. Dash, I would love to see Dash Rendar and the Outrider. Would love it. Would fucking love it.
There was another one. I'm trying to remember what it was. I need to bring up my. Hold on.
And they even back in the day had a Han Solo trilogy books, which I'm pretty sure they took pieces of that for the Solo standalone movie. But there's a lot of books out there that are no longer canon. They're considered legend, but they're slowly starting to realize that a lot of the stories that are coming out can be great canon for future shows and or movies.
Okay, I know this is going to sound weird considering like the Ace character, whatever, but there's a Star Wars book called Dark Disciple.
Yeah, there is.
There's actually three books: Dark Disciple 1, 2, and 3, and those are actually a really, really good series of books. We already have the Kenobi series, Outbound Flight. I believe that was a Thrawn. Shatterpoint was a good one.
Yeah.
Fate of the Jedi was a good one.
Even Tarkin was a good one too.
But I mean, when we're talking about Star Wars, like I said, in pop culture, I mean, there's only one, like when people bring up like what's the best example of Star Wars in pop culture that you can think about. There's only one thing that I could think of,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
I'm waiting for you to share it so I can click the share stream button.
Star Wars.
Oh.
Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars. Don't let them end.
Oh.
Wars. If they should Star Wars, please let these Star Wars stay. And hey, how about that nutty Star Wars bar? Can you forget all the creatures in there? And hey, Darth Vader in that black and evil mask. Did he scare you as much as he scared me? Don't scare it, Star Wars! My seventh winner up here!
I'm sorry, I had to.
No, but see that proves that even back then SNL had its finger on the pulse of pop culture. So, yeah. More in the pop culture, Ben has a little surprise that we were looking at earlier. We'll watch right before the end of the episode.
That makes me want to go watch the Simpsons special of Star Wars.
The Simpsons or the Family Guy?
Simpsons have one episode. Yeah. But the Family Guy one's hilarious too.
Oh yeah. Which is funny. Blue Harvest was the name Jedi when they were filming because they didn't want people to jack the prices up of shit, which I think is hilarious. Jeremy already answered this question. Yeah. So I already have his answer. Besides the Millennium Falcon, which is your favorite ship that you'd want to fly? Jeremy, go ahead and tell them what you told me.
Mine's the Razor Crest.
The Razor Crest?
Yeah, the Mandalorian ship.
That's before
I would love to ride with little Grogu.
Fuck that Jedi scum. What about you, Ben? What ship would you want to fly besides the Falcon?
The Auriga Fire.
Which one is that one? I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a starship of Jet Nebula. He was a smuggler.
Mm-hmm.
It was from one of the books that I read.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can figure out which one it was. Damn, I carry. A Fatal Alliance. And just because it sounded like a really freaking interesting ship, it sounded like it had like a bunch of like cool modifications, whatever, and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, all right, I want to check this out. You know, like it is from the Old Republic, whatever, but it sounded pretty cool.
I think there's so many ships from the Empire that I would want to fly, but the one that I thought was cool the first time I saw it, unfortunately, The Last Jedi is the first time we saw it, was Kylo Ren's fighter, the TIE Silencer. I don't know why it's Interceptor, but way fucking cooler. So for me, that would be the ship I would want to shoot down rebel pilots and bring glory back to the
Honestly,
Empire.
Kylo Ren's, a lot of the shit he had was badass.
Agreed, 100%.
They just killed his character.
Well, I think
they even chose the right guy to play him.
Yeah. But my thing about that entire trilogy, since we're going back to it, is the only character that they truly fucked up on was Luke. how the fuck are you going to quit the order you're trying to rebuild because one student turned to the dark side?
Yeah, but when that student takes all of your freaking, you
Didn't
know,
he murdered the other students though, didn't he?
I think
yeah,
he
he
did,
murdered,
Is that what they
he
said?
murdered just about everyone, and then he took the best ones and turned them to the dark side and made them his
Knights of Ren.
Knights of Ren. Yeah,
Yeah. But still, and even Yoda in that movie says that failure is the greatest teacher.
I feel like so another thing about the trilogy. Okay, so that scene where he uses his tie to shoot down Luke. Remember he shot him like I don't know how many fucking times, and he just like
Oh,
just
you're
like
talking
that
about
at the end.
you're talking about the knuckle dragging AT-ATs, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that happened, and he didn't do anything or like it didn't affect him, I was like, okay, that's badass. I thought that was a badass moment in the movie, and then their fucking battle was just so mediocre. I was just like, it got me so hyped up. I'm like, bro, this is finna be badass. And then it was that. I was like, what the fuck?
Well,
it was just a force projection.
I don't know. I don't 100% agree with that because that was just Luke proving that he's more powerful in the Force than Kylo will ever be, and he was just kind of toying with him at that point, kind of making a point that you're this big badass, but you're not me, and I'm
so your master.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he did die like a gangster though. The way they killed him off, I did like the way they killed him off. And like I said, everything about his character was great. Like his weapons were badass, his ship was badass, his fucking clothing, the shit they chose to give him, his attire was
He was
badass.
he was just a crybaby. Period. He was what Anakin was in Episode 2, but a little bit older.
If you look at Darth Vader's kill list compared to Kylo's, who had the more oh shit, he just killed this guy moments? Is it Kylo or is it Darth?
That we seen on screen?
Yes.
Or in general? Oh, not many. I mean, he didn't really kill Obi-Wan anyway. Obi-Wan became one with the Force and disappeared. So I think the only thing I can think of is that scene in Rogue One at the end when Vader just annihilates all the rebels.
Vader went beast mode.
Yeah. And what's funny about that is that was last minute. They literally filmed that 2 months before it got released. So it was like,
hey, it's the best scene in the whole fucking movie.
Fuck. Yeah, I remember watching it in the theater crying. I'm like, dude, I cannot believe I've been wanting to see this for a very long time. And I got to see it.
Wasn't that they said it was the guy who actually was in Darth Vader's costume. They said it was actually his idea to do that, from what I read.
From what I understand, it was the director who wanted to do it, and they ran with it, and they made the proper channels, the proper calls.
That's why he's the director.
Yep. As a matter of fact, if you in the movie, he's the guy that pulls the lever to release the Tandem 4, because he's actually got a part in the movie, a very small one, but a very important part.
Yeah, because I just remember watching that thinking like, dude, Vader's a freaking beast, dude.
Yeah.
Like in this prime Vader, like
I felt like they were trying to do that with Kylo. They just couldn't figure it out.
Well, not just that, but when Vader lifts up that one dude on the ceiling and he's fucking everybody else up, as he walks by him, he just throws the blade up real quick and cuts it.
Yeah, it was just an afterthought.
Then he reaches out and just pulls all of their blasters out, and then he just goes full fucking ham on every. Up to that point, he was fucking with them. He was testing them out. Oh, how badass are these guys? Oh no, they're not. All the guns are gone. Slice salami. Let's go. So
even like that one scene y'all talked about with the blaster bullet when they shot it at Kylo and he caught it. Not only did that happen, they also didn't he redirect the bullet somewhere else?
No, it kept going. They kept.
He kept going. I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, once he was done, it went off and it startled everybody. Like, oh my god, what the fuck happened? Oh yeah, there was a blaster bolt just kind of hanging in there,
But either way, Like that was just a badass moment.
Yeah,
Uh,
agreed.
and it was like
Um,
the very first episode for the trilogy. So I was like, oh fuck, this Kylo Ren guy is gonna be a fucking beast.
it was kind of false expectations. Though, it was like, oh my god, it's gonna be badass, and then it just kind of went straight downhill after that.
I hope they remake that trilogy. I really do. I hope they rewrite it somehow.
There's been talk that Dave Filoni wants to make the Thrawn trilogy and omit everything, all the other movies, the Rey movies, and all that. Just fucking omit them.
That would be preferable.
I'd be okay with that too.
I would be okay with that, but you could bring back some of the actors who played those characters.
That or just recast. They already have a fucking a younger Han Solo. They could bring him back. Sebastian Stan as fucking Luke. I'd be okay with that. And Carrie Fisher's daughter, who was in Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, can play Leia. And you have Danny Glover, not Danny Glover, the guy who played Lando in Solo. You already have
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah, you already have a fucking Lando. Anthony
He
Daniels
actually
is
did.
not
He
gonna say
played
no.
a good Lando, actually.
He did. He played a great Lando.
I was shocked because I know him as rapper Childish Gambino,
Yeah.
and I'm like, when I heard they casted him, I've only seen him in horror movies because he does a lot of horror films. So I'm like, how would he do as Lando? I mean, he looks like Lando a bit when he was younger.
He was
So
a
that
bit.
makes sense that they casted him.
He was a
But
very
when they-
arrogant, very cocky Lando, which is what
Yeah,
he
and I was
could've
just
been.
like, holy shit, he killed it. Like,
Yeah, he
he
did.
didn't have a major part, but for the part they gave him, he killed it.
Yeah. I originally was going to have y'all rank all the movies from worst to first. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have y'all name your top 3 of all Star Wars movies. All 11 of them. 12 if you count the Clone Wars movie, which I don't.
I don't either.
I don't. That was a 2-hour miniseries. We'll start with you, Jeremy. Your top three.
Three?
Top 3. They don't have to be in order, just your top 3.
I'm gonna try to keep it in order. So number 3 for me is your number 1. Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
The only reason why I say that is because, like I said, it's an older film. It's a fantastic film. Don't get me wrong, but it's just a CGI for me, and I get it. That was the shit back in the day. I understand that. It's still a great story, but to me, if you're gonna make a sci-fi film, that's the first thing I'm looking for. Is obviously it's gonna have CGI in it. So I think other than that, Empire Strikes Back is fucking fantastic. Honestly, they're all fantastic, but if I had to rank them, yes, that's not my number 3. Number 2 is the one that got me into it, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, fair.
Only because, like I said, I grew up on those. I didn't grow up on I did see the older ones, and I love the older ones. They're fucking classics. But
Yeah.
I don't know, just to me, I felt like Revenge of the Sith, there's just certain scenes in it I love. The fucking scene where Anakin kills the kids right before he had just turned to the dark side, and then he did that. I'm like, bro, that's gangsta as fuck, bro. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like the way they did that shit was fucking fantastic. Natalie Portman, what's her name? I was forgetting her name. Natalie
Padme.
Portman's character.
Padme.
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 The way they kill her off, like everything was just so perfect in that movie. And it was like perfect timing. And my number 1, a lot of people are shocked on this. Rogue One.
No, not at all. Rogue One is a great flick, and it fills a 30-plus-year-old plot hole. So I don't see any fault in that.
I've never gotten shit for it. It just like people are like, "That's your number 1." I'm like, yeah, the shit it explains in that movie, because there's a lot of shit missing between 3 and 4 that you don't know, and that movie explains it.
Okay, I like that.
And it was so perfectly done. Like there was nothing wrong with that movie.
What about you, Ben?
Well, honestly, and this sounds weird coming from me because I did grow up with the original 3 movies, but just because of the badassery of it, like the hype,
Mhm.
watching the trailer and all this shit, and the fact that I was able to watch these movies at the time in theaters, whatever was I'm gonna say like my favorite movie to watch, and I could watch it over and over again, is Phantom Menace.
Okay.
And Phantom Menace, and then it goes Revenge of the Sith, and then it probably goes to Return of the Jedi.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's purely for nostalgia. It has nothing to do with like the storyline or anything like that.
Mhm.
It's just the moment in time that captured for me, um, because of, like I said, what I was going through at the time, and just everything, the sights, the smells, and all that I remember when these movies are on. And now, like that, I was able to take those trilogy movies, the prequels, should I say, and watch those with my son when he was a baby.
Mhm.
And those were like our things that we shared together, was watching Star Wars movies. And then when he became, an adult and they started releasing the other ones, um, I was able to go with him to go watch every single one of those.
Yeah.
So those will always be special for me. And just like Spaceballs will always be.
Yeah. Okay.
We
Yeah.
shared that together. Our love of Star Wars went into the love of this parody of Star Wars.
Mhm.
So that's a whole other, podcast on itself.
You know what? That's actually not a bad idea for a podcast, like a Mel Brooks type of thing. I get that. All right. So again, your order is Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace, what do you call that?
That's your number 3.
Revenge of the Sith, and then
Jedi.
and then Jedi.
Okay. Wow.
Return of the Jedi.
Our top
Oh,
three
that's a
is
great
all
pick.
over the place because for me, number 3 is going to be Jedi, just because it's the end of that in 1983 up until like 1995. We didn't think we were ever going to get any other Star Wars movies. This is a time when sequels were not as often. So the fact that they made 2 sequels to that original movie was kind of groundbreaking in a way. But Return of the Jedi would be.
What movie did they do? What other movies have they done sequels for, or even 3 movies for? From back then,
The Future, The Godfather, and recent. Fuck that fucking shit.
Lord of the Rings ain't bad. I just think they made too many.
I think they're too fucking long, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, they're about like 4 hours long. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Just remember, kids, there's only one return. It's not of the king. It's of the Jedi.
Remember, kids, Blockbuster.
But number 3 would be Return of the Jedi. My number 2 would be Rogue One. Just the story, it fills that plot hole. Why would they put a weakness in a fucking space station they're building? This movie actually fills that hole. Going, okay, this dude wanted to get back at the Empire for pretty much kidnapping him and his family and making him work against his will. Okay, fine. That's a big fuck you to the man. I get that. And number 1, Empire. When it comes to story, there is no movie that comes even close. You have the love triangle, and I cringe at that because what we learn about Luke and Leia later. But the love triangle between Luke and Leia, and then Leia and Han, the big reveal at the end with Vader saying, "I'm your father," Obi-Wan's full of shit. I just remember when that movie was over in the theater, I'm like, whoa, this next movie is going to be fucking awesome because there's so many questions that need to be answered. And it sucked that we had to wait 3 years for that to happen. But it is what it is. But Empire, Rogue One, Return of the Jedi. That's my top 3. Now, I say that because everybody's going to have their own preference on what they think is the best movie. I know, looking at different things I've seen online, a vast majority of people would agree with me that Empire is the best movie, but not everybody, and I get that. But that's the cool thing about that, is that it doesn't have to be everybody's favorite movie. There might be somebody out there who thinks The Phantom Menace is the best one. They're wrong, but that's their fucking choice. You know what I'm saying? It's.
I think the Phantom Menace does have the best character deaths in Qui-Gon.
Phantom Menace has by far the best lightsaber duel in any movie. The only one that comes close is the fucking duel battle in Last Jedi.
Revenge of the Sith.
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's like Obi-Wan and Anakin was pretty epic.
But the battle with Kylo Ren and Rey versus the fucking guards and the Knights of Ren, that was a badass fucking scene. That movie was shit, but that scene alone was like, okay.
Another thing about the trilogy, though, one thing I did enjoy about it, the way Kylo Ren sacrificed himself. He turned out to be the hero of the story.
Yeah.
Literally. So they kind of made up for his shitty character by killing him off the way they did.
They made him another Vader, is what they did. He was a tormented soul. He ended up making this turn back to the light, and then died for his actions. Okay,
it was gonna be Rey.
Well, he always wanted to be Vader, and he kind of did. So, Ben, did you want to pull up that video? Then we'll close out the show. We're gonna pull up the Family Guy Star Wars references.
Oh God!
So
yeah, and then we'll close out this episode.
I do want one question for both of y'all, though.
Sure, go ahead.
Have y'all actually visited the Star Wars headquarters in Florida?
Nope.
Wait, what do you mean the headquarters?
The one that's in Disney World? They have an actual headquarters.
No, I haven't, because I haven't been to Disneyland or Disney World since 2010.
Bro, so I went like a couple years ago. Bro, I went during the May 4th area. I believe I went May 2nd, May 3rd. So it was right before like the celebration. And bro, they had the actual sabers they built for the movies there on for sale, and the actual droids that they had for the movies for sale.
Nice.
I did buy the crystal saber, the one the Mandalorian had.
Oh, the dark saber.
Yeah, the dark saber, and I bought that one because I'm like, they had the Darth Vader one, they had the Kylo Ren one. I wanted the Kylo Ren one really bad, but it was the actual sabers that they use in the movies. They were like kind of like a replica built for WWE, like they're the same size, weight, and everything, same concepts. But I went there and I bought $2,000 worth of stuff, and everything got stolen. Every single freaking thing got stolen. Someone found out that I bought all of that, and I was gonna keep it and eventually, keep it and sell it eventually, and sell it for like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But holy shit, if you ever go to there's an area where they have like the Death Star history. There's a little bar in there, and they sell the beer and drinks that they drink in the movies.
Okay.
There. It's the green. What do they call it? The green. It's the green stuff. What's it called?
Green milk?
No, it wouldn't be green milk.
Green milk in it? But they had like the green beer. It was green beer because it was a bar. But it was the actual stuff they used in the movies. I thought it was cool. It was $35 though. But
St. Patrick's Day on the Death Star now. $35 green beer.
But that was a very surreal experience. They even have a ride where you have to like battle against Kylo Ren, and there's another one against Vader too. It was badass. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with y'all. I would definitely recommend going, especially if you're a nerd like me.
All right, Ben, go for it.
Get Brian to come out peacefully, we're gonna have to take him down.
Don't worry, Joe. I'm good with tight situations. Like when I saved Luke Skywalker's life.
Okay, Luke. This'll keep you warm until I get the shelter built. You sure this is okay?
Yeah, you're just cutting into the fat. Okay, what was that?
You know the captain's hat we said Sully Sullenberger was wearing when he landed in the Hudson? Someone bought it off our website for $5,000.
No way! What moron paid that much?
Someone named Obi-Wan Quagmire.
Obi-Wan Quagmire. Wonder if they mean old Glenn Quagmire.
Boy, it's amazing, isn't it? You get two fathers, and neither one of them wants anything to do with you.
There's gotta be some way I can make him see that I'm worthy of being his son. But the only way I could ever impress him is if I was a fat, stinking drunk.
Peter, you are a fat, stinking drunk.
What?
You're a fat, stinking drunk.
Yes, from what he's told us, that's right on the money.
Challenge him, you must.
And I'm Hayden Christensen.
Peter.
Dad?
What do you think you're doing, Peter? You were raised Catholic. If you forsake your religion, you'll spend eternity in hell.
Oh, God, I don't want that.
Then you better knock off all the Jewish stuff.
Well, all right, if that's what you think is best. Oh, wait, Dad, before you go, can you say, Peter, you must go to the Dagobah system?
Peter, you must go to the Dagobah system.
Thanks.
Oh, this is awful! Somebody stop them! Do something!
Good. Let the heat flow through you.
You're not helping!
And wouldn't you know it, there's our first customer. I'll entertain him while we wait for more to arrive. So, thanks for coming. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Glad to hear it. Any requests?
Play On the Dark Side by John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
Oh, well, I guess sometimes you're just right for the part. Like James Earl Jones playing Darth Vader.
So, James, we just want you to do the voice.
How come I'm never employee of the month? Man, this is the worst job I've had since I was the conductor for the Sand People Choir. And a 1 and a 2. No. The altos were early. Now, this is the worst glee club I've ever... Oh, come on. Where you going? The benefit's tomorrow.
Relax. The Sand People frighten easily, but they'll be back. And in greater numbers.
Well, that'll give us a richer harmony.
Oh, yeah, no, it's gonna sound fantastic. Good night, buddy.
Good night, Papa Tom.
Good night, son. Good night, Lois.
Good night. Peter, this is a little strange.
No stranger than when Darth Vader was a meter maid.
Oh, come on, man. Cut me a break. I was only in there for like 5 minutes.
I already started writing the ticket.
You know, I make your annual salary in a week. Are you happy doing what you're doing? 'Cause you're pathetic.
I gotta do it, Karen. I gotta take a shot. That guy just got to me today.
You do whatever you think is right, and I'll support it.
I don't really understand it. What do you want this loan for?
I want to build a giant space station that can destroy a planet.
I don't know that that would be a good investment on our end.
I mean, I want to open a sports bar.
Hey, did you see those pictures of me doing duck lips by a pool? I don't know, some island.
Shh. You rebel scum. Yeah, you're too young. You don't know.
And so, gentlemen, in baseball, 3 strikes and you're out. But 3 lucky strikes, and you're in.
Oh, nice try, Don. But I'm afraid we're going to have to take our business elsewhere.
Oh? I don't think so.
Oh, this is an even bigger jackpot than when the Emperor figured out the formula for great Star Wars dialogue.
Something, dark side. Something, complete.
Okay, this is the one. Son of a...
Oh, that's perfect, Brian. We have to go down there this weekend and heckle her roundly. I'll humiliate her worse than Luke Skywalker did to that rebel pilot.
The exhaust shaft is only 2 meters wide, so you'll have to use proton torpedoes.
Well, that's impossible, even for a computer.
It's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters.
Hey, can I talk to you privately for a second?
Sure.
That was unnecessary.
What's the problem?
Well, you just kind of called me out in front of everybody back there.
I was just making a point.
I know, but you just kind of sandbagged me in front of everyone we know.
Sandbagged you?
In front of all of our friends. Yeah, you sandbagged me.
I sandbagged
you. sandbagged me,
well,
yes.
Here I am trying to help you with something that...
You know what? I don't need your kind of help, all right? Have a great assault, jerk.
Mom, we've got a problem. See, I promoted magic shell ice cream topping on my channel, so they sent me a ton of it.
Yeah, so?
Dad Han Solo'd himself.
Oh my God, he's gonna suffocate.
I created a vanilla ice cream pita covered in magic shell.
Why?
Because I must. Don't listen to him. He's an imposter. I'm the real Peter. No, you're not. I made you. I'm the real Peter.
Oh my God, I don't know which one to believe.
What do you mean? I'm a guy and he's ice cream. Oh! Thank God, Lois. Does anyone mind if I turn the thermostat down to 32 degrees? You're not fat, Chris. You just come from a long line of husky griffins, like your great-great-great-uncle Jabba the Griffin. Raja Nabadua Gola Woke Nipple Pinchy.
Jesus Christ. But see, that just proves that Star Wars has been a big part of pop culture. And, you know, I know The Simpsons have done some, not as much as Family Guy has.
Yeah, that was a lot of references. I didn't even know there was that many.
And there's more. There's a lot more than that. Yeah. Excuse me. With that being said, we are going to close out the episode. Jeremy, is there any socials you want to promote before we head out?
Yeah, so my personal Instagram will be JScreams with the Z, not a S, _ official. The only reason why I had to do that is because when Instagram had this weird thing for a little bit where you had to verify that's your real account. So I just put official just to make it a real account. So that's my Instagram. My Snapchat will be J_Screams with the Z at the end. Everything will have a Z at the end. Facebook will be Jeremy Salinas Hadagi. Just message me on how to spell my last name. Good luck trying to spell it. And that's about it. TikTok, same thing, J Screams. It's just J Screams on that one. So yeah.
All right. Ben, you?
Follow Recycle Corn on Facebook, Instagram, and that's it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I forgot to mention my brand new show titled Grim Sessions as well. We kind of do what you do, but I do like music reactions, and we talk about whatever the hell else. Like me and CJ did like wrestling stuff, and you know.
Okay.
But yeah, that as well. Grim Sessions live on Facebook and Twitch soon. I'm working on my Twitch account right now, so
fair. All right, and going back to the recycled corn, Ben and I actually recorded an episode earlier. When do you think that'll be dropping, Ben? The next day or two?
Yeah, the next day or two. It just depends when I have time to do it. So
fair enough. Yeah, just give him a like and a share on Facebook and on Spotify and wherever you find your podcast.
I'll be
as for the Josh Zodiac Podcast, you can find me find the podcast, I should say, on Spotify, YouTube. Spotify will have the audio. YouTube will have the video and the audio, obviously. And you can also search Facebook and TikTok. Just search the Josh Zodiac Podcast. That's where you'll find me at. Any last questions or concerns before we roll out of here, guys?
Nope.
May the fourth be with you.
I couldn't have said it any better myself, but I'll
and
try.
with you.
But again, this is DJ Zodiac Podcast, along with Jeremy and Sir Benjamin. I am DJ Zodiac. It is customary for me to say "make it so" at the end of my episode, but that's Star Trek. So with that being said, thank you for listening and or watching, and may the Force be with you. One final note: this is the next day after that taping of that the podcast for Star Wars. I touched on it earlier, and I felt like it needed to be reiterated again because none of what I like or am into would not be possible without my mom. Those that are doing the audio podcast, I'm holding up a picture of myself back in July of 1998, first time home from leave from the Navy, and my mom asked if I would bring my dress blues home. Now, those that have never served in the military, especially the Navy, the dress blues are polyester. They are really thick, and in the Texas heat, they are unbearable. And if you look in this picture, you can see I look fucking miserable because I was super fucking hot. But what mom wants, mom gets. And I talked about it in the podcast that my mom took me when I was really, really little to see Star Wars when it first came out in 1977. And every movie going forward, we went together to see, obviously, because I was a child. And I had the opportunity to take her to see Special Edition when it came out. We went and saw A New Hope, only because it was the first one. And, you know, that's where it started. So I wanted to say thank you. Again, like I said, my mom is not with us anymore. She's been gone since Mother's Day 2003. But I know she's still here. And I am wearing a Star Wars shirt today, not a Star Trek one. That was not by design. I swear I just grabbed the first shirt for work, and it just happened to be the Mr. Spock Live Long and Prosper shirt. But this one I looked for and I found. But like I said, that being said, to my mom, I want to say thank you. Everything that I love, music, movies, everything is because of you. And if not for her taking me to see this movie all those years ago, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So again, I just want to say thank you to her. I know, you know. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Have a happy May the 4th. I will be doing my own marathon today and probably into tomorrow, starting with episode 1 and then going all the way to episode 6. I'm probably not going to do the sequel trilogy. I just don't think I have it in me to do them. So that being said, I hope you enjoyed your day. May the 4th be with you. Make it so.